Yeah. So these Sas functions, like the syntax, the general syntax in a Sas function is the function name and the arguments. So some functions need one argument, some functions need more than one argument, some function doesn't need any arguments. So this arguments is nothing but the value that you're passing, the variable or the the variable or the value as a parameter. So some function accepts multiple arguments in any order, a specific number of arguments or no arguments. So these arguments can be in these like what kind of argument? When you have to say arguments, the arguments may be any constant, any variable, any function, any expressions. Any of these things you can consider as an argument. So whenever you're using any function, any of these things you have to pass it. So this one we already gone through that, right? So last class. Okay. Now let's go to the each individual Sas functions. So first thing is character functions. So when you say character means it only accepts the character type of data. That means you need to pass only the character values. So Sas functions and operators can be used to extract, edit, and search some character values. So these functions majorly used like for the character means you may need to extract something, you may need to find something, you may need to replace or edit something. So it means those are things majorly used for character. Because for character you cannot do any multiplication, right? So only the character means either may be extracted, substitute like edited it, or you can replace it. Yeah, or you can use search. So let's see, these are the couple of Sas functions. I can also provide some additional PDF file. There you can see multiple more Sas functions. You can go through those PDF file. But yeah, those along with these functions, I can also provide some additional things. So you can go through those. So the first one is a substring. So whenever you say substring, it means you are extracting some string. You are extracting part of the string from the string. So the substring function used to extract or replace the character. So because these functions, if you want to extract something from the string, from the column name or string, then you can use this. So there are two forms of substrings. One is substring right and substring left. So what is substring right will do, what substring left will do. So if you want to extract the characters, you have to use a substring right. It means the substring function you have to write in the right side. Let's take some examples here. Let's take some text here. Now I want to extract something from this particular string. So I want to extract is. So then next equal to substring right. So if you are using the substring in the right side, then that is called as substring right. If you use a left side, that is called as a left. So here you are using substring right. So I want to extract something, some text. So if you want to extract this thing, you need to know the position, where exactly this top position of the particular string. So what is the position here? 6. From 6th position, how many number of characters you want to extract? 2. So it will give those two characters from sixth position. Then it run. See, you got only what exactly you wanted. So you got only those two letters. So it means here, if you want to extract something, you need to identify the position from that particular position. If you specify the number of character from that particular position, you will get those many characters. Suppose if you don't specify this number of character from this particular position, what will happen is it will extract everything from that particular position. It's extract everything from that particular position to the last. Okay, so this is a use of majorly substring function, which it means it's extract the part of the string. Substring, whatever the string you have from that particular string, you are extracting something part of the string sub. So this is about the right and how we can use the left. So the left function is majorly used to replace the characters. So the substring left will be used to replace the character. So to replace the characters, you need to identify the way what you want to replace. So now what here is we want to replace is with 80. Okay, now if you run it, then you can see this. It will replace that. So how many number of character that you are extracting, those many number of characters you can replace it. If you replace more than that, it won't accept it. You have to give those many number of characters only how many you are extracting. But the substring left is very rarely used it, but substring right we majorly will use it in a real time. Substring left will rarely use it because we have some alternative function is there. There is a replace function and a transmode functions are there. So those will be used to replace something. So is this clear? The substring. Okay. So here what will happen is when you write the substring, when you extracted the string, yeah. So how many number of character that you are extracting? Only those number of characters you have to specify. So if you specify, if you are extracting two and if you are replacing, it won't do that. So it will get that thrown error. So it means you have to use only those number of characters because it's based on the length only. It replacing. So you are defining the length, right? So overall. Okay. So if the length of the created variable is not previously defined in the length statement, it is the same length of the first argument in the first string. See, if you increase the length of the particular variable, you can replace differently. But if you don't specify, if you are not increase the length, whatever the characters are there, it will also do the same thing. It cannot automatically increase the number of arguments. The next function is right and left. So this is a simple function. It's simply so right means align the data right side. From left to do the data will move to right. And left means from left, so the data will be aligned to the left side. From right to left, it will come to the data. So it means it's simply just moving data. If the number of character, if the data contains any spaces, that spaces will be moved to the opposite direction. Means just moving the data from right to left, left to right. So this is how it will use it. So these are left, so the data will be moved to right. These are right, the data will be left. So other than this, just use it. So majorly this function will be used in whenever you're required to display the data in a particular format in an output file. You want to see some specific thing in output file, then you can use this. Yeah. The next function is scan. Okay. The scan function. The scan function returns the nth word of the character value. Nth word. So you have to remember that it nth word. It is easy to extract the words from a character value when the relative order of the order is known, but the starting position are not. It means so whenever you want to scan something from your word or keyword, it will give the position. So you need to specify from which word you want to extract that particular keyword string. So it's specifying searches, scans, and returns the nth word of the string. So let's take this as example here. So I'm using a scan. As per the definition, it will scan the nth word. I'm using text, comma. So which word you want to extract it? You want second word, third word, or fourth word, or which word you want it. So I'm just using third one. If you specify the three, it will give the third word. So what is the third word here? Sas. How you are saying it? This is a third word. How the data is separated here? So data is separated by space. It means the default delimiter is space. Okay. So, but with scan word, it's considering the default delimiter and searching the particular word. Suppose if my data has doesn't have any spaces, but it has like a comma in this, then I want to extract that. It's because the file, if the particular text doesn't contain any spaces. It means its default delimiter is not accepted. So you can pass what kind of delimiter that you want it here. Whenever you have data like this, you have to specify what kind of data that you have. Delimiter is there. If you specify like this, it will be considered comma as a delimiter and will extract that particular word that you want it. Okay, so like this is also another method, another way that you can extract some particular string in the particular variable. So instead of a text here, you can have any column name and take the existing data that you wanted. So this is the major advantage with the scan function. But if you look at the scan function, when you execute it, when you create the new variable, so here what happened, we are creating a new variable called s2. So when you create a new variable, it occupies 200 characters. It means it's the length of the newly created variable has 200 characters by default. The length will be created. It means it can store up to 200 characters. If you want, you can increase more, but by default, it will store the 200 characters in that particular scan function. So to limit those characters, to limit this number of characters, you have to use a length statement. Use length, and what are the variable that you are creating, the variable, and how much length you want. And since it's a character value, you have to use a dollar sign. How much length that you are going to expecting, or you want to keep the maximum length. So if you did specify 5 dot, then the length will be decreased to only 5. See, okay. And one of the disadvantage with this here is whatever the length that you specified, those many characters will be stored. Suppose if I specify length 5 here, I am extracting 4. It has more than 5 characters. Let's see. See, it's not giving more than the 5 characters. It means whatever the number of characters that you want to store, those many number of characters you have to specify it. But if you want to store more than those characters, it will not allow that. It will be truncated. Data is all automatically truncated. So it means before choosing the length, you have to think how many characters you are going to expect in that particular file of the variable. So is this clear, the scan function? Okay. So there is another thing also here. So what is happening here? If you specify 4, it's taking 1, 2, 3, 4. But if I specify -4, let's see what will happen. See, it means it also search in a reverse direction. When you specify a positive number, from right side, from left to right, it moves from this position to this position. So it moves the position to right and will search the character. But when you specify the minus, so opposite direction, left to right, it will move that direction. Okay. So that is why left the use of negative. So the next one is concatenation. So means concatenation means adding 2 strings, concatenating 2 strings. So the concatenation operator joins character things, means concatenate means joins the 2 strings side by side. So there are some operators that we can use it. So these are the 2 strings, 2 text. So now I want to concatenate these 2. So this is the concatenation operator. You run it, you can see here, right? But if you want to put something in between that, because here there is no space, is and is after is. But if you want to put something, again you have to use 2 more character operators, and within that you have to specify what you want it. If you put like this, it will add anything. So if you add any special characters like this, it will add. So you can see here. It means just concatenated means appended the two strings, joins the two strings one off side by side. So like this, you can do the number of characters. So number of strings that you can edit, but the length of the newly created variable is whatever the number of characters that you have, and both the variables are strings. It will be appended those length, created the sum of those lengths of the variable. Okay, next one. So the trim function. Trim means removing the spaces so from either left side or right side, which means the leading or trailing. The trim function removes the trailing spaces from the string. If any blank spaces in the trailing, then it will remove those things. It will trim, just removing those blank spaces. To remove the leading blanks, you have to use a combination of left and a trim. Okay, so if you want to remove the remove the leading blanks, then you have to use the left function and then trim. You can see here. So trim, yeah, trim. So use it like this. So because if any spaces are there, you want to remove that and put only single space, then you can use like this. So this is the use of trim function. Yeah. So one of the other important function, find. So the meaning itself is means you are finding something. So the expected result is if the particular value, whatever thing that you are searching, if the value is found, it will give the position of the particular character, word, or anything. Because it means if you want to find something, so if you get the result, it means it's if whatever the value that you are expecting, if it's found, it will give the position. If it's not, then 0. It means the find function majorly used to search something in a string. If the string is found, then you'll get the position of the particular string. If you not found, you'll get the 0. Okay. So the find function searches particular specific string of characters within a character string specified by the user, and it returns its location. So the syntax is find whatever the string that you are expecting. Okay, whatever the string that you want to, whatever the thing that from where you want to search it, from which one you want to search it. So like this. Let's take some example here. So this is my string. So here I want to search some is. You can see here there is a message called note. The variable text is uninitialized. It means there is a variable which is not there in the dataset, but you are using. So it means whenever you have the variable is not there, then you can see this kind of message. Now if you run it, you can see, don't see anything. See, you are getting 3. So where exactly the is position is available? See, th is. So here this is in third position. You can find that particular word. But in a scan, you are given a real opposite. So if you want to, so in the scan function, what you are giving the position and will give the result, giving the result. But here you are giving the results what you want to search it and give the position. Okay. So here you have some different other scenarios in the find also we have different things that you can do that. So suppose like this is there, then what value are you expecting here? What is the expected results here? Can anybody guess? So you will get the position for this particular, not here, because when you specify that say 6, why you got a 6? It means if because whatever the character that you are searching, whatever character that you want to search within the codes, it will exactly match that particular case. If you are giving uppercase, it will search only uppercase. If you are giving lowercase, it will search only the lowercase. So now to ignore any these kind of things, then you have to use I. So if you use I, it will ignore the complete case. Means either you can give the positive or uppercase or lowercase, whatever the case it may be. You will get the results. Let's see this variable I. See, you got a 3. It means so. Just simply I want to see the letter if it's uppercase, even though if the particular letter is uppercase or lowercase, whatever it may be. If you want to search it, you can use I. So are you following any? Is it good? Any questions? Okay. Yeah. So there is another modifier is also there. Tree. T means ignore the trailing blanks. If any blank is there, it will ignore that. Okay. So this is about the find function. Similarly, we do have the index function. So this is also same as a find function. Okay. So it also searches a character argument from the location specified by the character value and returns its location. Okay. So it's all the same thing. There is no, it's both the function will do the same thing. So okay. So these index or find functions, how it will be useful in a real time. Okay, so how it will be useful really in a program level? How this can be used? In what scenarios that majorly we used it? Simple example is so you want to find some character from the particular column and identify those records. Suppose in a particular day, like let's take some like any student name or like any product name. Let's take some product. It has some name. The product name contains any special characters are there like ampersand, percentage, dollar, any specific characters are there in the character name variable, the product name variable in the data set level. If the particular string you identified that, I want to clean those, I want to remove those unnecessary characters. My intention is if the particular character value you have in the name, I want to replace with some other blank spaces or remove those. Okay, so to identify those, to find those particular strings, we use this particular find function and we can create a new variable. Let's see how it will be do that in a program level. So this is my data set. So this is my data set. So in this particular string, so I want to find the people whose name contains M. I want to find the persons whose name has M. So what you are going to do that? So let's take some string M equal to find of name comma M. So either uppercase or lowercase, whatever it may be, I want to search it. So if a particular student name contains M, and I want to find those student people, so I created the variable C M. There are only C, and I want to filter only these people. So what we'll do is I'm going to use the where dataset option, where M greater than 0. So what will happen? You will get only the people whose student's name has M letter. You can see only 4. So with this way, what will happen is you can get all the different product names whose name contains specific keywords. So once you have this, you are going to replace those things. So if you have this, it will give the position where exactly in the data set. So now directly you can use some other functions. You are going to replace those. So suppose now we identified this, right? Now what I'm doing, I'm going to replacing those. So search str substring function left I'm using. So what you're going to find something from the string. Here it's not useful. So there is another function we can do that. There is a translate function or replace function is there. So once you complete that, you'll get the picture on that. So what function is there? So it will find and replace that kind of thing. Okay. So now because this is how we can identify the error, like unwanted data in the data. Okay. Unwanted data. So in the data set, in the variable level. So similarly, index also. Okay. So the next function is this uppercase, lowercase, and propercase functions. So these functions majorly used to convert the data in the proper case, which one you want it. So if you want uppercase or completely upper, if you want a lower, you can complete lower. Or if you use a prop case, means the first letter of the word will be uppercase, remaining lowercase, like that kind of thing. So these functions majorly useful whenever you want to apply the filter in a particular name or anything. If you want to search a particular name, like suppose I want to first. So here, say only capital letter, you can get it. Now complete name only for name, right? So Now if I convert this into uppercase, you will see more people. See, previously I have only one, now we can see more. Means this is like if you means this is how we can use in a where condition, like where contains city, some suppose if the name contain like stuff, like if the product contains some specific products, maybe because the product name in the data set level has lowercase, but you can never know that some products are lowercase, some products are uppercase. So you can convert all the things in a proper some single case, either lowercase or uppercase, and use that particular condition in here. In this way, you will get exactly correct products, exact correct results, correct product that you are going to searching. Apply the filter. So in these type of scenarios, majorly we use these functions. Yeah, this is a function that I'm talking. Tran word. So it means tran word function replaces or removes all occurrences of a given word within a character string. Simple means it's finding something and you want to replace something. If you want to find something and replace something, now it simply means find and replace function here. So source, target, and replace. So from this particular source, I want to search this target and replace something. See here. So this is my string. From this particular string, I want to search this and replace this. Is that clear? So this function made right. So how we got it? Similarly, so to find, once you find in the function, then you can find we are going to replacing those things in a data set level if you want it. So this the both find and this standard will be very useful to cleaning the data. It means whenever you have unwanted data at the data set level or variable level, to clean those data sets or data, then these functions very useful. Because data cleansing also very playing key role whenever you're doing any reporting or any creating any graphs and creating some analysis on that. So in those kind of scenarios, these are the functions very useful, like find function, replacing uppercase, like this kind of thing. So the next one is compress. So compress means it's nothing but simply removing the spaces. So by default, delimiter is space. So when you use a compress function, it removes, it means deletes the complete all the spaces from the particular string. So the function removes the specific characters from the string. By default, it will compress the space. But if you want to remove something, you have to specify. Like, so here I have the M. Now if I just use a compress name, then it will, if any specific characters are there, any spaces are there, it will remove it. Since it doesn't have any spaces, it will not impact anything. But if I ask to remove something, let's see this. See, here we have M. It's M removed, completely deleted from the string. It means you are asking to remove specific thing. Then you can use this compress function. So normally this will be useful to compress any blank spaces are there, and also used to comparing the purpose whenever you are applying the where condition to subset the data particular thing. Because what will happen is, suppose if a particular character or in a product name has more spaces, but when you are entering that, so to remove all those all those spaces in the string and check the condition, then we use this one. So at the time the compress function is very helpful. So always try to use this compress whenever your unwanted data is there. So you know that trim and left and trim function to remove the leading and trailing blanks. So if you want to remove only one side, you can use the left side, like, right. So similarly, if you use a compress, wherever you have the space, by default it will remove the space, but wherever you have the space, it will remove all those spaces from the particular string, not only first position or second position, wherever you have it. So this is about the compress. The length function. The length function is majorly used to find the length of the particular character, particular variable, nothing but calculate the number of characters in a variable. So these are a couple of character functions are there. So we do have more. So so there are more character functions are here. Not only here, but this out of remaining all the whatever we explained here, outside of those we have more here. So uppercase, lowercase, and topcase, and there is a compel function is there. So this is one of the important function, compel. So it removes characters from the string. So compress is completely removing, right? So similarly, the compel also is there. So these are all the functions that you have. So in this particular PPT, in the PDF file, the examples and their definition, how it will be used in program level. It will be give them more example here. So upcase, the purpose, syntax, and example. Lowercase. Yep. Compel. So it replaces all the occurrences of the two or more blank spaces and put single blank. So this function is majorly used to remove the multiple blank spaces and keep it only one. Then use a compel. Let's see here. This is an example here. So here you can see multiple spaces. But once you use a compel function, out of all you can remove all these spaces and keep it only one. But if you use a compress, it will remove all in particular string. If you have any spaces, it will remove everything. All the spaces it will remove it. So this is a compress function we discussed. So like this, we do have more functions here. So out of all these things, one of the functions that I'm going to explain is cat. That is important. Yeah. So there are four different cat functions. Cat nothing but simply just you can as I remember it's concatenation. Okay, concatenation means if when you use concatenation function, whatever if the particular string has spaces, it will also add the spaces to the when you are adding the two strings. But I want to remove the spaces and everything, keep it only one, or keep it add something like that, then you can use this function, concatenation functions. So the first function is cats. So when you say cats, to remove the leading and trailing blanks in the strings, then put only single blank. So then we use the cats function. So let's take the example here, then you get that. See, so here A, B, C, D. So these spaces are the leading and trailing spaces. So when you add cats result A comma B. The result data set, you can see A comma B. What is A and B? So when you use the cats, it will remove all the leading and trailing blanks. It will append these two. See? So if you want to add something, you can add a new string. So wherever both leading and trailing blanks, it will remove them when you use a cats. The next one is the cat. T means trim. Only trailing blanks, it will remove it. When you say T means cat T, concatenation of T, only trailing blanks. Only want to remove it. See here. So you can see this example. Hello D. T is there. Okay. This particular trailing blanks are removed. Only leading. Okay. So this is about the cat. So when you say cat X, remove both leading and trailing before cutting a red place and put single place. So now to remove both leading and trailing, and you want to add one space between the characters A, B, C, D. So because we have more than spaces, more than two. That means we can remove all the unwanted unnecessary blanks and keep only one particular space. By default, it will do the only when you say cat X means by default or it will add only space. So this cat function is majorly used to concatenating and something majorly used in a data level. So this cat function, simple cat function means just concatenating all the strings, nothing. So how the data is there as easily to add it when you use only cat. So now we see that four different type of cat means it only concatenation. Cat T means only remove the trailing blanks. Cat X means both leading and trailing both will be removed, put only one single space. And S means both leading and trailing will be removed. So these are the four different functions. So as per the scenarios, you can use which one you wanted. So right and left, you saw that we already, trim, we can use it. So this particular function nowadays it's more useful using. Previously we don't have this strip function. Now everybody is using strip because you know that but left and trim function majorly used to remove the leading and trailing blanks. But string function means if you remove both leading and trailing, put one single space between the variable. So both to the strip function, the strip to strip leading and trailing blanks from the character or strings. Both functions if you want to remove the spaces. Instead of using the left and trim, then use only strip function. So these are more character functions here. Yeah, you can go through all these functions and practice it. If any questions are there, maybe we can discuss it. Some of the functions we rarely use it, some of the functions we don't use it. Okay, I'll share this document and maybe you can go there and see that. So not only these, so we do have more in SAS, there are a number of different SAS functions are there. So when you go to the help document, there you can find the different SAS functions. But when you just type SAS function, you get the list of all the functions. But at least you can go through one time the meaning. Just try to understand the meaning. This function will do this thing. If you know the meaning, then you can able to where exactly according to the scenario you maybe recollect it and use it. Maybe if you even though if you don't recollect the syntax, you can find, so you can do some help document and there you can search it and do that. Okay, so let's move to the different functions. So then there are some other numerical functions are there. So in a numerical function, these are the majorly four different functions that we used it. So the first one is round. So what is mean by round? It means the round function majorly used to round off the nearest value. So maybe if you recollect it, when you are writing some amounts, when you're writing some values, it has more than two decimals, then we call as, then you can put it, take the round off value. Okay, so if you have the round off value, then maybe 2 digits round off, you can do that normally. So how you can do that means by using the data set level, by using this round function. Let's go to some examples here. See here, round of 13.13. So when you say round of 13.13, you'll see only 13, because after the decimal, if it has more than 5, then we'll go to the next plus 1. If it less than 5, whatever the value in an integer part, you'll get that result. So if you have more than 5, whatever the value of integer, it will add to the 1. So like that. So it's see 32.65. So you want to see 0 to 1. It means after decimal, I want to see in the output only one decimal, means nearest round off unit of the one decimal. It means 65, 66 like that. So 65 means 7. 65 means 7 like that. Similarly 0, 1. After the decimals, two decimals nearest round off value. See what 478. 78 is means 8. More than plus 5, above 5. Then you can use the nearest integer value. So now similarly, so this is about the, if you specify dot, it take the decimal side. If you don't specify the dot, it will take the integer side. Let's see 96.49. It means 10th decimal, I want to see the nearest value. So 96 of the nearest is 97. So not 97, 100. It's more than 500. So if you have only specify 1, then you can see 97. So this is how the syntax will work, how you can use this syntax. Yeah, the next one is CL function. If anybody heard about these functions, it's easy one, but generally we rarely use these functions. Majorly we use in the numerical side, only the round function. To keep the couple of decimals in the output level, then we use the round function, but the CL and floor we rarely use it. But yeah, the CL function is returns the smallest integer greater than or equal to argument. Okay, this is how it will. So smallest integer. So when you specify the 4.4, what is the smallest integer is 4 greater than or equal to argument. It means 5. You will get, see the result is 5. So the opposite CL is floor function. Returns the greatest integer less than or equal to argument. And the next one is int function. It means it will only give the integers. If any decimals are there, it will ignore that completely. So it's not going to round off value. It completely ignore that. So it takes only the integer part of the value. So along with this, there are some other functions are there. So we can go through these like absolute value, truncate, power, mod, log, exponential size, all these things. Yeah. So and there are a couple of statistical functions, and similarly we have some date functions are there. So tomorrow we'll go through these two type of categories, date and and some statistics. Then we go to the data manipulation, combining the multiple data sets, how we can do that. Okay, yeah, so we'll see you tomorrow with the remaining functions with the new date function, especially dates. There are a couple of date functions are there. Those will very important ones, so you have to learn because those dates will used to automate the program. I'll show you that examples tomorrow. Okay, yeah, thank you. So we'll see you tomorrow at the same time. Bye bye.